Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I'm an economist, actually, and I'm in this social environment since 2005, when I decided to study furthermore and try to dive into this field to discover the synergy between e-commerce and social network. At that time, I was studying several cases from US and Europe, and everybody there was trying to discover the future of e-commerce. eBay, Amazon, everybody was trying to discover what would be the future. And this topic, this theme, stimulated more study here in Brazil, because at that time, 2005, 2006, we saw that the e-commerce was just starting, and people were getting addicted so fast, so rapidly, and with a lot of power in social networking. So then we've been working hard to develop this kind of project, and we achieved last year what we call progressive cashback. That's our model. So the progressive is social. So the more people buy, the more cashback they can receive. That's our business model, and we can discuss a little bit more later. Thank you.
Okay, Tahiana. First of all, how can we say your name correctly?
Tahiana D'Egmont.
Okay, thanks.
So you want to talk about what I do?
Yeah, a little bit about your experience with social.
Okay, so with social, I guess this is the third company I manage that has a strong relationship with social. Just to go back a little bit, when I was in college in Rio, I founded a search marketing agency. Back then, not a lot of people were doing it. Then I moved to São Paulo to work in an online agency called Media Complex, where I became social media manager. And I started to see a lot of things happening in terms of social. And generally speaking, people in Brazil just think that doing social media and doing social advertisement was about paying blogs to write about your brand. And it's not that this doesn't work, it works, but it's not only that, there's much more about it. So that's when I met my partners and co-founded byMK, which is the leading social gaming publisher in Brazil today. We launched games such as Colheita Feliz around 3 years ago, so we basically started the market here. Before there were no social games, you wouldn't hear anyone talking about that. Then I exited the company about a year ago, and recently I joined Vostu, where I am Chief Marketing Officer, and Vostu is the leading social gaming developer in Brazil, so instead of being publishers, we actually do our own games. And it's been pretty successful. We just launched a new game 3 weeks ago, and we have over 6 million users. It's the fastest social game in Brazil until now. So I guess that's my experience with social. Everything I've been doing in the last 4 years at least is social.
Perfect. What about you, Reinaldo?
Hi. My experience with social is more regarding social development, much more than only social interactions, and is much more related to two main things that have been working for the last 10 years, is how to reinvent the way we educate ourselves in today's society, and also how we're going to work. We're talking about two big institutions that are a big crisis today in our society. One is formal education, schools or college or whatever, and the other one is employment. So we have these two institutions are now in a big crisis, and we need to reinvent them. And my experience have been in the last 10 years as a social entrepreneur at the beginning, and from the last 2 years I have dedicated my life to build a platform that's called It's Noon. That is the midday. It's regarding the time of the day where nobody outshines or or shadows anyone else. So it's a moment it's your moment of enlightenment. This is what I believe in terms of social development is that in the digital era, everybody's going to have a space for your voice, and everybody can become a knowledge worker. What I mean about knowledge worker is a space where everybody can share your own knowledge or wisdom in different forms that you can interact with society.
Can you tell us a little bit about you?
Yeah, just a brief introduction about myself. My name is Flavio Pripas. I'm the founder of byMK, together with Renato, that is in the audience. I have a background in computer science and business administration and also finance. And I developed a site for my wife, which became the largest fashion social network that we have in Brazil nowadays. And we have been studying this kind of social paradigm or social phenomenon in the last 2 years using our engineering kind of mindset. So that has been an interesting thing to see how people behave when one interact with the other. So this is I think I will start with this topic. Who are the consumers in this space? Who are interacting when we talk about social? Who are they? In your case, Bruno, for example.
One thing that is very interesting is what's happening here in Brazil. We are watching a huge movement upward from classes, right? So class C and D upward into B. And this movement is amazing. Those people represent already like 50%, 60% of the consumer, internet consumers. And this is changing how we make business. This is changing the relationship between retailers, between brands, the whole industry behind. They have to change the way they communicate their brands, their product, and this is the power of social. Because when you are able to connect with your real customer, everything makes it easier to go and spread. Because people start talking about their product, people start talking about their company, and this way we believe that will drive the future of e-commerce. That's why we are in this field.
Just one question before we move on. Are we talking about younger people or older people? How do you see the people that are doing this kind that we are talking that is social?
Yeah, most of them is young people, but this kind of movement is changing as well. When you see games, you see that offline games, most of them now who buy social offline games usually are not too young, right? This movement from offline to online is boost the social games as well. And in e-commerce, we've been having this movement as well, because people are getting more used with this kind of technology. So it started in the past with young people, and now it's moving to people that have a lot of money to do that.
Tahiana, you have a lot of experience with social games, right? When you talk about the audience of the social games, what are we talking about?
You know, it's funny because I guess when we started doing social games in Brazil, we just had no idea if it was going to work. Like, seriously, I had no clue. I just thought it would be cool to try it out because I saw what was happening on Facebook, but I had no idea if they would be afraid of putting their credit card to buy something that's not even real, right? But it turned out that it became quite a big phenomenon, and I think nowadays people start getting online to play a social game rather than to create an arcade account, which is what happened a few years ago. People would get online because they wanted to have an arcade account, Now they get online because they want to play Café Maria, because everyone's playing.